Hello, everyone. I'm the one and only Blue the Macaw here from the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll present to you our next special redo Let's Play for our channel. Even though originally we weren't going to be doing this until November of this year, this is probably because, if you couldn't tell from the title of the actual Let's Play itself, as you can tell, it's been made by, of course, Disney Interactive Studios, as well as Traveler's Tales, and even Psychonissus. I don't know how do I pronounce that very well for this point, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll present to you our Let's Play of Toy Story for the Sega Mega Drive / Sega Genesis for those who lived in North America. And this game also came out on the Super Nintendo as well as the PC version. And as you can tell from the actual screen transition as well as the actual sprites, as you can tell from the actual capture device recording, I'm going to be playing this on the Sega Mega Drive / Sega Genesis version, because to me though, the Genesis version / the Mega Drive version is, in my honest opinion, the most superior version of the three. This is pretty obvious because they actually includes all 18 regular levels throughout the whole entire adventure. And obviously, if you couldn't tell from the capture recording setup, I'm going to be playing this on the Mega Drive Mini. And to do that, I have to simply just hack my Mega Drive Mini, and that way I can able to actually access to this game. I know it's incredibly illegal to able to do that kinds of stuff, but I don't care, because either way though, because that way I can able to add up more games onto any other mini consoles at this rate. So either way, yeah, and as you can tell that on the actual menu selection screen, this is the North American version, specifically the Genesis version, because unlike the PAL version, which I still managed to get even to this day, the PAL version does manage to get ourselves the fourth extra option, which appears to be the password, but then on the North American version / the Genesis version does not, making this a little bit more of a difficult version of Toy Story for Sega Genesis / Mega Drive. So I just want to point it out right away. So even that way, let's get this thing to it in, well, of course, on the Mega Drive / Sega Genesis. And the following events of those cutscenes are basically pretty much exactly the same as in, well, as far as when the movie came out in 1995, which I can't even believe the film is gonna be 25 years old recently. Well, not until when we get on to November, until likely for this year. So, but either way though, we'll discuss more about that whenever we're able to continue proceeding for this game. So, anyway though, so here's Toy Story, and as you can tell, that was before when Toy Story 2 and Toy Story 3 was actually a thing, that this game only allows you to take control of Woody, because he was actually the main character to start with in the Toy Story film franchises. But then later on though, that if you've seen the movie already, you know exactly what I'm talking about right here, but you know. So basically in this first level, as you can see, is called that Old Army game. So basically this is the first level in the game, and basically all you have to do is basically we need to able to use Woody's string, so that way we can able to actually just to take out the lid of the actual Old Army Man bucket. So that way, if you do manage to accomplish that, then if you think this level's done yet, well, the game tells you that we need to able to look at the baby monitor. And if you do somehow manage to get the baby monitor, then you need to go all the way to the right, as you can see here, and that's how the level ends. So, how's that for that? And the good thing about this particular American Genesis version, as you can tell, is the fact that the actual frame rate is actually a lot faster, because I'll discuss more details about the fact that why we're actually doing this game again, for a number of reasons actually. First of all, is that the quality on the actual Let's Play wasn't exactly all that great, to be honest. But before we get on to that, here we go on to the next level, which is Red Alert. So this means is the fact that we need to gather all the toys back into its original position, and just like in a movie, is the fact that, well, we just have to able to actually get these toys back into where it once were. And I'm going to show you something a little bit quickly. I know it's definitely cheating, because let me tell you, this game is ball-bustingly difficult, which I'm going to say this right now, that this is definitely one of the most toughest games I've ever played, along with the forms of The Lion King. So either way, just want to classify that for that specific little topics worth noting for. So, alright, something worth mentioning for this point is the fact that, well, to be honest with you, there's not much else I can talk about, apart from the fact that, well, obviously because this is on the Genesis/the Mega Drive version, so this means is the fact that, basically, if you manage to get into Red Alert level, I'm presuming you get, like, less time in the Mega Drive/Genesis version, but then compared to the Super Nintendo version, that I think you get about 3 minutes, if I could recall correctly. But then again, it has been a really, really long time since I actually played this, so I must be honest for this point, guys, and birds out there, but even then, for those of you watching, just makes me feel like a little bit of sense of confusion here, so... But I digress. So yeah, as you can tell, that there's going to be a lot of stars that you can able to collect. But there's actually a special reward if you somehow manage to collect all 50 of those stars during in some levels, if you couldn't tell. Which we'll probably talk more about it until whenever we, you know, continue for this predictable moment. So either way, though, from now on, we'll just have to focusing on the RC car as well as Rocky here. That it's important that we need to be able to get those two into underneath the bed, so that way it'll also counts as like trying to able to accomplish this level. So I will try my best if I was trying to able to grab more of those stars as I hoped, but if you manage to let the time run out, then basically you have to restart the entire level again. So it's one pointed out, and if you get onto the top of the bed, or if you get onto the bed, while at the same time, while all the toys just managed to get back into its original positions, specifically the toy box as well as underneath the bed, well, only 2 of them to be exact, then the level itself will be completed, and then Woody will just go, you know, in the actual specific, I don't know, it has been quite a few days actually since I actually done most of my recording, so I do apologize for that. But regardless of everything else though, folks, is that today's day is the, I would say it's the 28th today, in this case in July in 2020. Not much else has been going on, apart from the fact that there's going to be some little bit of some downgrades recently since the past few days. Like, as far as when Mario and Sonic has already mentioned this before, since in Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020 Let's Plays recently, so... But let's not get ahead of ourselves at this point, because the next level we're going to be hop into is Ego Check, where basically you think this might be something to do with a racing level, but more specifically we have to do with a lot of tricky, difficult platforming to deal with, especially as you can see for those little hooks, as you can see right there. This is what the actual whip button comes into play, and as a result you have to press the B button on the Mega Drive controller. I'm not exactly sure on the Super Nintendo version. In fact, let me know in the comments below. In fact, there's also another version of Toy Story, the video game, which is actually being released on the Game Boy. And, yeah, let's not get ahead of ourselves with the Game Boy version. Aside, it might actually play out exactly the same. Although, as far as I've noticed something very straight off the bat, is the fact that the only differences between all 4 versions of this game is the fact that with the amount of levels you're going to be exploring onto, it actually has some different variety in them. Like, for instance, for example, that whenever we get onto towards the end of the game, or even in this case, in the middle portion of the game, because let me tell you, this game is like really, really short, because as a result, assuming if you're able to actually use that cheating cheat by simply able to use the invincibility code, and in order to do that though, is the fact that you need to collect 7 stars in Red Alert level, and then hide Woody himself in the toy box, and that way if you hold down the down button for about a few seconds, and that way you should be able to activate the actual invincibility code. Because let me tell you, I'm not actually very very good at this game, because it gets ridiculously hard later on, which, believe me, whenever we get onto the halfway point of the game, trust me, I know. But I digress. But on the Super Nintendo version, that the invincibility cheat does exist on the Super Nintendo version, but it was actually on the very first level in the game, so it seems kind of weird to say the least, but still. Anyways, when you reach towards the end right here, that's how the level ends. So, and as you can see, since I did manage to get myself all 50 of those stars, the only reward you can get is just the extra life, and that's pretty much about it. So either way though, there's not much else to talk about it, but apart from the fact that, well, Woody was so impressed to see the new toy it comes in, well, that was by the forms of Buzz Lightyear, of course. If you haven't seen the movie already, you should definitely recommend it, because otherwise though, you'll be missing out. So either way though, that's how I can think about it. And of course, the next level we're going to be hopping to is Nightmare Bus, in this case, the first boss in the game.
You don't want to be in the way when my laser goes off.
And yeah, I do apologize for that weird sound issues. This is probably because of how the fact that sometimes emulations can't be perfect or anything like that, but either way though, it did try our best, so either way though. Basically, in Nightmare Bus, as far as the first boss in the game, basically we need to take down these little orange looking projectiles, and well, it's more likely like a shield kind of projectile, and basically we have to use the whip, and then once you deal with all these little orangey stuff as far as the actual shielding goes down, basically it's now your chance to able to actually attack Nightmare Bus. However, you have to wait until when he starts looking at his scanner, because if he shoots his laser while you're trying to able to whip him, it will not work, because instead you have to wait for him to able to check his scanner, and that way you should able to deal the damage on him. So pretty relatively easy boss fight, well, if only for the fact that it will be pretty tricky and difficult without the invincibility code, but just let me tell you though, is the fact that I just really don't care, because either way, because again, originally I was gonna able to do this let's play just around the corner when we get into November 2020 of the celebration of the first Toy Story film's 25th anniversary at some point, but I've decided able to actually put it up in a little bit of an early state until likely today, which is of course the 28th of July, because I just want able to point this out for you guys out there. And by the way, if you ever played the PAL version of this game, as I said before, you get yourselves a password system, and that way if you get a game over, or even lose a continue for that part, or in this case if you have no continues whatsoever, then you would able to go back into when you left off. So even then, a pretty cool and handy useful way on the PAL version of this game, but unfortunately for the American version / the Genesis version, they don't have a password system. It's just like an arcade old school kind of vibe to it, so but you know. So anyways, here's the next level right here, which appears to be a bus clip, which I think that's what the level is called anyway. And believe it or not, is the fact that in the Game Boy version of Toy Story the game, basically two levels are Nightmare Bus and a bus clip. Those levels are not included on the Game Boy version. This is probably due to the handheld's limitations or something like that. Because I'm gonna assure to you, because of how the fact that, well, as you can see on screen, that on a bus clip level, that basically the majority of this level is the fact that it's all about the RC card that we have to get a lot of usage of driving on. And basically all we have to do is just basically we need to knock out every single Buzz Lightyears until the levels end. So because I'm pretty sure that in a movie, if you ever seen a movie, that basically Woody becomes jealous, because usually, relatively speaking, is the fact that Buzz Lightyear becomes Andy's new favorite toy back in the day. Well, at least as far as I can usually think about that for the time's sake. And basically, Woody's become jealous, so he wants to able to actually have a, well, jealousies. Well, it's been a while since I actually watched Toy Story, the first film, just because I'm pretty much used to with, well, let's just say the future sequels. Although, don't get me wrong, that, I still found, Toy Story, the first film, is the best film ever made. Especially noticeable how the fact that back in 1995, it looks super impressive back then. Especially noticeable how the fact that it's a good thing that Toy Story managed to spawn in, 4 sequels, which, well, specifically 4 films to be exact, which is Toy Story 2, Toy Story 3, and recently Toy Story 4. So either way though, we can able to expect that, so. And basically, like in the movie, is the fact that all these the rest of the Andy's toys now started able to actually go completely mad at Woody just because, well, they think Woody did this on purpose or something. So either way though, Revenge of the Toys is the next level on this game, and basically you know we need to avoid a lot of hazards. Well, assuming if you're able to actually utilize with this broken, you know, invincibility code cheat, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, as you can tell, it's the fact that another biggest differences between all four versions of the game is the fact that on the Super Nintendo version might sound a little bit similar to this version, as you can see I'm playing, but the biggest differences on the PC version is the fact that since the PC version was actually CD based, so as a result they actually get some of these music that is usually inspires like CD quality, which kind of reminds me of a similar thing for how it does in Sonic 3D Flicky's Island / 3D Blast, that normally in the Mega Drive / Genesis versions, that they simply managed able to get a 16-bit soundtrack, but then only forms in the Sega Saturn version did manage to receive a sound quality, CD quality music soundtrack, which also same applies for the PC version as well. But you know, it's a pretty cool idea, but unfortunately I did get my hands on the PC version just because, well, I just don't feel like it. So yeah, you get the idea for that little topic for that point. Oh yeah, every now and then now is the fact that most of these Andy's toys, except Rex, that most of these Andy's toys, specifically this little robot thing here, as well as Mr. Potato Head and Ham, are now start to hurt you, so you have to watch out for those, and especially noticeable with these very unpredictable enemy patterns most of the time. And yeah, that's what I mean when it comes to the fact that this game can get pretty difficult at times. This is pretty obvious because of the movement of Woody's momentum can get pretty stiff in areas, and then most of the time the enemy placement can go pretty much all over the place, which then makes it probably explains why this game is so difficult. And yeah, the main objective in this level is the fact that we need to rescue Rex, but the actual chaos has been going on, and basically if you manage to let Rex free, then that's how the end of the level works. So yeah, you get the idea for that little, for the sake of points for this level. Oh my goodness, what happened to you, Mr. Potato Head? You look like you've got zombie apocalypse or something. I don't know, I'm just getting a little bit hasty for myself right there. Especially noticeable, it has been, you know, few years since we did manage to play this. So, run, Rex, run! Is the next level in this game, and it appears to be some sort of like an on-rails kind of, well, basically you have to dodge a lot of those enemies. That's pretty much about it. But the only thing that makes things a little bit difficult is the fact that this RC car would really love to throw you off with unpredictable patterns, and especially noticeable with the Green Army man. They're trying to able to actually just well, catch you off guard if they manage to jump off on one of those airplanes, as you can see on screen here. So yeah, let's get to the actual topic about the fact that why we're gonna be redoing this game again. This was back in 2015, actually, just right before when this film was become 20 years old back in the day, in 2015. And long story short, the quality itself is really bad because you can't really see everything on screen, although the only exception is, of course, the regular levels, of course. But for the majority of every single recordings in every single level in this game, oh man, you can't really see every single part, including some screenshots too, which that just makes me feel like, wow, we figure I might as well do that game again. But anyways, oh yeah, every once in a while though, is the fact that the more you collect those stars, that basically it'll take you to this bonus game, which every time you get into those mini games like these, basically all you have to do is just basically need to shoot out all 20 of these stars, and as you can see my controller just somehow slip up. This means about the fact that I've only got about a few chances left until whenever I just manage to able to, you know, just get some more hit points. But that's the only reward you can get. But again, who cares about that, because I'm still using the invincibility cheat code, but I digress. Alright, so here we go with this next boss battle, which appears to be Buzz Battle. And this is what the game starts to get really difficult, because all you have to do here is the fact that we need to utilize with the actual tire. And what do I mean by that? Well, we need to keep on constantly using the whip to the actual tire, and it's all about adjustment too, because if you somehow manage to try to aim the tire at Buzz, it deals the damage. And you have to do this 4 times, by the way, because otherwise, if you somehow... Well, it's all about can be pretty unpredictable and luck-based at times as well. Well, if you're assuming if you're lucky enough, then you would able to do it alright. But for the majority of the time, it's the fact that you have to dodge a lot of Buzz's attacks, like the charge-up attack, and especially noticeable with this ballerina mode, as you can see right here, that I seriously swear to God, he always just attempts to do that. But sometimes though, it's the fact that you always have to avoid you know, a lot of his attacks basically. So that's a result. That way we should be able to actually just to deal with him just within no sweat. And after that you get yourselves like 3 or so stars, if assuming if you're able to actually just, well, compromise with it. So anyways though, and I think that since that Andy's now left, you know, Woody and Buzz behind in the Dinoco petrol station, and as a result, that is up to them two to able to find Andy back. So in this case, the next level we're going to be hitting to is food and drink. And this is where it starts to get a lot more difficult when it comes to like avoiding those hazards, including like food, and also because of how the fact that since we're going to be traversing through Pizza Planet, for those of you who haven't seen the movie already, then there's going to be a lot of kids out there. Like, meaning that we need to able to constantly, we have to, well, this is how basically how this goes. Basically, we have to get onto the actual, some sort of like a stealth kind of scenarios, where basically, if you keep on seeing those little paper aeroplanes about to be flying by, like for instance, I think there's going to be one coming up, which there's one here, crouch, and then that way you should hide yourself without even getting hit by a lot of kids, specifically whenever they just showed up their legs and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely a little bit tricky, honestly, so, but either way. Oh yeah, something's worth mentioning for this point too is the fact that Buzz Battle was never existed in the Game Boy version, because again, due to the Game Boy's limitations or something, so I have no idea why they did manage to cut out some of the levels in the portable / handheld version, which is a little bit odd. But anyway. But actually, this level is actually pretty fun though, but at the same time it can be really difficult at times. So because of that though, you have to deal with a lot of like pressing down on the directional pad, so that way you can able to protect yourself from not running into any other kids, especially noticeable with a lot of food or drink or anything like that. So, oh wow, we got a first continue. Which, the more you collect the stars, then you would able to get yourselves more continues, assuming if there might be some amount of them, so... Anyways, let's move on now to inside the claw machine, because apparently that if you've seen the film, that basically Buzz has got distracted by the forms of that particular spaceship in the Pizza Planet. So as a result, while Woody and Buzz was about to go back into like to see Andy again, but then Buzz Lightyear just somehow got distracted by that particular, you know, the rocket spaceship. So even then though, because if you've seen the movie already, then you must too. Because, you know, that film is easily the best, in my honest opinion, along with the rest of the Toy Story films, basically. The second one, the third one, and the fourth one, despite most people think the fourth one is a bit controversial, but either way though, I still managed to able to enjoy the majority of the Toy Story films, like all 4 of them. And I would try to able to include the shorts though, but I haven't really watched it that much compared to the films themselves. But that's just to me anyway. Oh boy, this is where it gets a lot more cryptic around here, especially noticeable we have to deal with those annoying projectiles whenever they start to pop up, and basically you're gonna get hit a lot. And yeah, we have to deal with a lot of tricky platforming and what have you, but if you go all the way over to the left, even though it might be not recommended if you don't able to have yourselves the invincibility cheat, and basically if you see this little stack of coins, go in here, and basically this will give you an extra life, so... yeah, that's basically how it goes. Oh yeah, by the way, something's worth mentioning for this point too, is that, I don't know actually, is that, basically, the majority of the items that you get, like specifically I've already mentioned this before about these stars, that basically if you do somehow collect all 50 of those bonus stars in one of the levels, basically it gives you an extra life. If you do somehow manage to able to collect those little sheriff hats, in this case Woody's hat, it actually gives you a 1-up. So And there's also some of those checkpoints, which, you know, saves your progression if you somehow come across into an instant death moment, and stuff like that for this wager. And also there's gonna be these little spinning, you know, some sort of like a plain yellow stars, which actually gives you a hit point, or in this case a sheriff badge. So yeah, that's how it goes basically when it comes to every single items in this game. So, but you know, oh god, this gets really picky with that specific fan blades, as you can see here, including that last one over there. That's for if you ever managed to able to do it without using an invincibility cheat, oh man, good luck with that. Especially noticeable if you ever play this on the emulator or even hacking it onto the Sega Mega Drive Mini. But I digress. So anyways, let's move on to really the inside the claw machine, which, as you can see, it plays out pretty similar to these Doom games, because basically it's like a third-person perspective, and basically the entire objective on this level, that we need to deliver those little strange alien creature squeezy toys to the actual the hole that's been filled with them. And basically we have to do it with a time limit, so in this case we got 3 minutes this time. I believe on the Super Nintendo version you get like a lesser amount of time, and also I think you have to collect like lesser amounts of those alien creature kind of toys or something. Again, it has been quite a while since I actually watched Toy Story, so forgive me for that part, but I digress. Something's worth mentioning for this point too is the fact that since this level was also included on the Super Nintendo version, however, in addition to the Game Boy version does not include this level because of the Game Boy's limitations, also the PC version does not include this level either. I have no idea why they didn't bother to able to include this level on the PC version whilst the other two did, specifically the Mega Drive version and the Super Nintendo version, because either way though, I'm pretty darn sure because there was this probably due to like the 32-bit kind of style of visuals or something. Again, I'm not exactly how I should probably describe about this, but either way though, we'll find these final two aliens as you can see here, and basically as soon as you manage to able to deliver those aliens back into the forms of that hole, and by the way, every time you pick up the alien, Woody always says hello, hello, every single time whenever you're just trying to collect the aliens and stuff. So even then though, that's pretty much about it basically. But either way though, that the actual labyrinth to me though, doesn't feel nearly as complicated as I hoped it would be, so. And yeah, we have to come across into the exact same minigame again, but obviously because we still got the invincibility cheat, so I'm guessing it's pretty useless. But I think you only get like 3 chances in order to able to actually just play this little particular minigame, as you can see here, so. Yeah, not much has been going on for this point, so. So close. If only because that last one is always so strict when it comes to time limit, because it always counts down really fast, I'm telling you, but either way. Alright, so now let's move on to the next level, or should I say, the next boss battle in this game, which appears to be the Claw. And let me tell you, I absolutely despise this boss so much. The only reason being for that, because, well, you know how the fact that, well, the pull string they always have to rely on? Well, we do need to able to use the pull string in order to able to actually not only just trying to fling up the, those little, space alien creature toys, to able to actually just to fluke them up, but also you have to hit them again while they're airborne in order to able to attack the crane. And however though, keep an eye out with the particular token counter, because every time one of them goes down, then basically you have to do the repeated cycle. But here's the difficult part, is that every once in a while is the fact that the claw might able to always aim at Buzz Lightyear. However, if you let the claw go all the way to the right, you lose a life, as you can see there. So as a result, it does give you a lot of trial and error for this boss. And let me tell you, it is so impossible. Like, I couldn't imagine if I was gonna able to do this game without the invincibility cheat. It will be impossible. And also, don't forget that as you can see on screen, there are rare occasions that particular electricity cable that's been swinging around all of a sudden, as you can see on screen, that also will hurt you. So even then though, you have to avoid a lot of things in this boss fight. And apparently so, luckily for the Game Boy version, this particular boss does not appear on the Game Boy version, so I think for the majority of any other boss fights in that department as well, that basically is the fact that, oh, really? Well, luckily for me, I didn't waste all of my extra lives though, because I'm still using the invincibility cheat. But again, if you ever play the Genesis version, that you might be very unlucky without a password system, because again, luckily for the PAL version, they did manage to include the password feature. So because of that though, the PAL version is more easier than the American version to me though. But you know, you get the idea for that little solution for that point. And of course, the one who's going to be controlling the claw is pretty obvious for those of you who've seen the film already, is of course Sid Phillips, which appears to be the main villain of the first Toy Story film. He was actually the bad neighbor from Woody's house. So because of that though, we have to somehow, you know, do not let Sid grab Buzz Lightyear. Oh, by the way, every time you get into the next phase can go insanely crazy, and it's also very difficult because, again, sometimes, you know, you have to rely on that particular alien creature squeezy toys in order to be able to deal the amount of hit on the claw itself. And by the way, every time you hit the claw, you get yourselves these little stars that you can able to actually just collect them. So, and also the claw will decide to hurt you too. So, again, not much else to say about this boss fight, despite the fact that this is one of the most toughest boss fights I've ever encountered. So, I know most people seem to find this no problem, but for me, I just always seem to have stupid luck with this boss fight. It's always because of this little, the pull string, well, just doesn't do its diddly squat again. Something's worth mentioning for this point too is the fact that, that particular whip / the pull string ability does remind me of the whip item from the Castlevania games, except unlike in Castlevania, that specifically Super Castlevania 4, that does like a little bit of a whip dangly thingy, that you always attempt to do that in Super Castlevania 4. This game doesn't do that though, because instead it'll just shoot like 2 directions, like the left and the right, and that's pretty much about it. So yeah, I just want to get this boss fight done and over with, because let me tell you, I'm actually getting pretty bored of this stage. But, hopefully by that time, after we're done with this particular boss fight, then we can able to go back into a traditional platforming level, so we're at least expecting for this point, so. But you know, you probably get the idea about this little solutions here, but again, I have no idea why I keep on saying for this point right now, just because, well, there's not much else I can talk about, apart from, you know, a few moments like, for instance, for example, about the fact that there's not much else to talk about, because let me tell you, the rest of the year is like, although it's okay in the beginning, but the rest of it though, it just blows, like, it really just blows. But anyway. But yeah, I can't even believe that with the first Toy Story film, despite I'm actually going to be doing this Let's Play in the earliest state of time, that this particular Toy Story film movie, along with GoldenEye 007, as well as, what else did came out in 1995? I forgot. Oh yes, Pocahontas, despite Pocahontas was actually one of my least favorite Disney movies in the Renaissance era, but apart from those side of things though, is the fact that those 3 films that I was familiar with actually will decide to become 25 years old, which I can't even believe has been time flying. Also another thing itself as well too, is the fact that, well, I guess I should probably explain more details about this. Actually, kind of think about it, recently Nintendo's Virtual Boy, despite it was unsuccessful, that particular console has now been out for 25 years in, I would say in Japan, so I just want to classify that. Despite Virtual Boys, it was actually a miserable failure. So I digress. So I think we should probably end things off here, despite I'm not exactly done with the claw yet. But I digress, so we'll have to end things up here. So join me next time on Let's Play Toy Story. It's the fact that we're able to actually finish up the main game. So as a result, there goes the claw, and that should be good to go. So I'll see you guys until on Thursday. Later, fellas.